And it is go time. Hello, welcome to the Gimme A Hull Yeah channel. And we are live. It's me, I'm Sam, and this is Andy here to my right, or you might be on your left. I don't know how you got your screen set up. That's your business, not mine. But we're going to watch SmackDown, and I'm excited. Andy, what are you looking forward to? Because let's have a quick rundown of what we got. We've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn having a face-to-face with Roman and Solo. Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar versus the Usos. Brawling Brutes against Pretty Deadly. We'll have the first SmackDown Grayson Waller Effect. And finally, LA Knight and Rick Boogs take on the Street Profits.
Hold on. His name is Rick Boogs.
Oh dear, I thought you were going to go super high then. I thought, is he going to do it? Is he going to go really high?
I lost my voice at a football match yesterday. If I tried to go high, this would be clipped and put on YouTube Shorts, so I'm not doing it.
Right then, well, what I'm going to do is, hello guys, it's nice to see you all in the comments. Let's just have a quick intro from somebody we all deeply miss.
This is Big E from the new day. Give me that Hull Yeah. Give it to me. I need it.
God, I made it sound like Big E had departed then, didn't I, when I said that?
A little bit, yeah.
Big E is absolutely fine. He's hopefully he'll be back in the ring soon. But yeah, none of that. Already clipped. Thank you. What have you already clipped? Anthony Nayland has joined us. But what have you clipped? I'm curious. Have I already made a faux pas? Is that me saying something about Big E potentially? Anyway, Big E is fine. Don't listen to me. It's 1 a.m. here. I can't even get the time right. So who have we got in? Let's go to the top. Me and Andy already clipped. Thank you. I'm worried now. What's he going to do? So we've got Catriana in. Hello, Catriana. We got our one of our MVPs, Normar. Hello, mate. Sassy's in. Hi, Sassy. Michael, another MVP. He's in too. Sassy, everyone just knows you're an MVP. I don't even need to say it. Prince Ali, our tribal chief, has arrived. Right, let's...
He is,
have
yeah.
a little look.
Hot start on SmackDown. We've got Roman Reigns coming out, and they're just recapping last Friday's blistering. I don't know, like what do you want to call it? Like a rundown of the Usos.
It was a bit savage, but I mean, the question I have about this is Roman Reigns stupid? Like you've got Sami Zayn running around saying bloodline, there's beef in the bloodline, all of that. And then he goes and does that, like just proving one of his rivals wrong and right. It's like I'm pushing Jay, like massive D move there, Roman. But
that's the story, man.
I know
they've got to go for it.
I was thinking, never got a cameo from Billy Graham. Hey up, you beauties. And I still don't know what Ant's clipped, but I guess I'll find out when he eventually one day tweets something. Because that was shots fired there. Because Ant doesn't tweet that much, very rarely. And yep, so the recapping the beef. A word on the street, Andy, and I don't know if this is true, but some of the dirt sheets are. It was Andy's boo, so he clipped, not me, accidentally suggesting Big E wasn't with us. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, that gets me off the hook. It looks like it's you who's getting twittered. Andy.
That's fine. Cool. Tag him in. I love a bit of Rick Boogs, or back in the day, Eric Bugenhagen.
Oh yeah. See, now that was a better name, but is that they sometimes think the WWE audience isn't capable of big words, don't they? And I don't know if that's true or not. It's certainly not capable of you or I. But
I think people might have struggled a little. That's probably one of the few cases where I think they did well, because I don't know if Bugenhagen would have gone down very well with the masses.
Bugenhagen. I kind of like it. So they just gave him Boogs.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the one.
Sassy is saying dinner, turkey parmesan and Mexican corn with Brussels sprouts and bacon. Oh, yes. Sassy always has better food than me. Although I had a barbecue tonight, Sassy, so I'm enjoying it.
Brussels sprouts and pancetta, next level. Bit of parmesan in with the Brussels sprouts as well, if you really want to be fancy. But that might be a lot of parmesan on that dish, so sounds good.
Speaking of nice dishes, I'm going to a very nice restaurant tomorrow night called the Orangery. Ribby Hall in Ray Green in Lancashire in England. It's very, very good. Oh my god, it's one of our favorite. It's also attached to our gym, so it's like really, really close because it's all on like one big holiday village site. But wow, the menu there just looks staggering. I might not even bother having any breakfast or lunch tomorrow. Going there. And speaking of tasty snacks, our tribal chief is talking.
South Carolina has just acknowledged the tribal chief. By the way,
Boo.
his new T-shirt, are you a fan or?
Well, let's have a look. I've only seen his back so far. Hang on. No, that's a bit loud. That I'm not into that.
It's got a bit of a garish humanoid goat, I think is what it's supposed to be, but it looks a bit weird.
Yeah,
Life's not fair and still.
No, I'm not feeling that at all. That's not going to be one of the ones I rush out and get. Oh, it's KO. He never looks pleased, does he? He always looks like he's
He's like a bulldog chewing a wasp, isn't he?
Yeah, someone's just pissed on his chips. I don't think YouTube will mind me saying that. And saying he doesn't know how to use the Twitter machine. He leaves that up to me these days for the Gimme A Hull Yeah stuff. And Dom.
Do you know
Dom
what
as well.
Do you know what Ant does know how to do?
Oh,
he knows how to do the GM mode on WWE 2K, and he does it very, very well.
Yeah, he does. Go and
Even
have a little
if he
look.
is still ducking my challenge of a cross-platform GM mode battle.
I'd enjoy that. I think that'd be good. So come on, Ant, do it. I don't know how to you even begin to put that together, but we want to see it. And Andy, roast mine with Jack Daniel's maple sauce. Now that is just orgasmic.
Sassy, that's going to get blocked. That's dirty. That comment on YouTube.
5-minute timeout for Sassy. Just out of spite.
I think I'll have to take a 5-minute break after seeing that absolute filth of food in the chat there.
There we go. Still think Roman and Solo winning the tag belts. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Andy? Is that happening, or is it too soon for them to lose after Mania?
It'd be weird to put to have Roman stacked with that many belts would just feel a bit odd because at some point they're gonna have to lose, and I think it's more likely that the Usos will probably cost them.
Yeah,
Solo will take the pin. I don't see Roman doing it, but yeah, I could see this being the beginning of the end with the Usos, but maybe that's just what they're teasing, and it's all one big ploy.
Yeah, because if the Usos were to try and get involved, to try and squirrel their way back into the good graces, to try and help them win, but in the end, they just cost it them. Oh my god, that the drama we could see after that. Like we're going to probably get some drama tonight, unless the Usos are hiding under a table somewhere. And Anti's saying, "Oh mate, I've got ideas for you and me, Andy."
I bet you do.
And he means it. Sassy is the only one able to give the presenters a 5-minute timeout. Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah. Although I've given a few to commenters in recent times. I've been abusing my power. Actually, I haven't been. I've been doing it to people who've been naughty and who can't play nice.
Sam.
Yeah, serious Sam, not saucy Sam. Serious Sam. Do you know what it was? I think it was a couple of weeks ago. There was I think there was just a little bit of beef, and we had to quickly squash that beef so the comments could flow nicely because the beef was dictating every comment and getting in everyone's way. Is Sammy's hair darker?
Is what? Sorry.
The guys are saying, "Is Sammy's hair darker?" I don't think so. Not from what I can see.
I think it might just be wet, so it's kind of got a bit of a darker effect on it.
Catriana saying, "Did you see my question?" So Finn and JD McDonough. Finn wins. Finn turns good and turns on Judgment Day, and Finn and JD make a tag team called Irish Demons. Is that the question?
Catriana loves a fantasy booking.
Fantasy booking, yeah. Well, who knows? I think JD McDonough is very much a heel, Catriana. From what that promo he gave the other day, and then the horrible things he did to Dolph Ziggler on Raw, I'm fairly sure JD McDonough is actually worse than Finn at this point in terms of bad guy status. So I think anyone turns Finn. I think Finn will turn face sooner or later because I actually think I think face is his natural state. This is the founder of Bullet Club. I still think he's a better face than he is a heel, Finn Balor. I like it when he's a savage face, though, a face with some bite.
Sam, I'm going to start a yawn tally counter.
I know, it's so
you're
annoying.
11 minutes in and you've had 2 yawns already, so there's 2 on the tally.
I couldn't be any more caffeinated either, but you just have to put up with my my yawns.
I wish I had those signs where Brock Lesnar's doing the suplexes where they like hold them up and it's like 1.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that with the yawn count.
I think like with the JD McDonough thing, like I can see him joining Judgment Day, or is it too obvious? Is it like, oh look, but WWE, if they've got 2 people from the same place who look similar, they're very good at throwing them together. You know what I mean? Like when they had Kairi Sane and Asuka, they threw them together because they were both 2 women who were Japanese. Like, and I get they've done stuff together before, but it's very, very typical WWE. And I think they'll struggle resisting doing that with JD. Yawn. Oh. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. But are you ready for the Judgment Day to end? Yeah, Andy, or has it got more life in it?
Sorry, I'm just listening to the platform. Well, why am I saying platform? The show at the moment. The promo. That's the word I was looking for. And Sammy's just said the Roman isn't going to win the tag championships because he's just not as good as them. So bit of shots fired. But Roman has said before that he doesn't want to waste time on Sami Zayn or waste the rest of his life. I think he will join Judgment Day. But they're a little bit at risk. Oh, we're getting the Usos a jump in Sami Zayn KO.
I think you're a little bit ahead of me. I've still got Roman spitting some barbs.
Still doing the bidding of the tribal chief.
Oh, now I've got Usos. Flipping LJ. And Kevin's out on the ring beating up Jimmy. Oh, not anymore. Into the post. There we go. I mute my microphone when I'm moving my chair in a big way. Because it makes so much noise.
So Roman's not happy. He's currently screaming at Jimmy saying, I didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah, they're... it's like the more they worm their way back, the further they get, isn't it? As opposed to getting closer.
That's a cool moment. So Roman went to pull Solo out the ring, and Solo stood his ground, and Roman almost looked a little bit like, yeah, okay, I'm not messing with you, and then just left him and walked out. As we head to a special break.
I've just seen that then, him banging to Solo, and then like, he's so good, Roman Reigns, isn't he? Getting across what he needs to get across. He looked terrified of Solo then.
Yeah, he's got his kind of facial expressions and his acting's definitely improved. I think he must have been going to some sort of acting classes or have an acting coach or something, because his kind of cadence has come on a lot, and his expressions have definitely moved up a level. So you can tell he's getting ready for a Hollywood run, and he's looking a little bit more like a Hollywood star these days as well. So it's paying off.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just easier as well being a heel. You know what I mean? Because when he was a baby face and he had to be a certain way, and he's never come across as that bouncy baby face like Seth Rollins or AJ can do, or you know, he's never been good at doing that. He's always had a bit of a slower cadence and being a bit more serious and grounded. So as a heel, he can just play into that, because he's absolutely terrifying when he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And when you're waiting for him to react, that's when he's good. When you're wondering what he's going to do, that's what I like about Roman Reigns. And I'm now starting to think, I'm changing my mind, because what's the point of having a mind if you never change it? I'm changing my mind about this year's WrestleMania just gone, and now I'm starting to think it was the right call for Roman to win, because And like I wasn't for it, and for a while up till Backlash, I was thought, oh, did they do the wrong thing? But now I like the idea of this year being dominated by the bloodline drama as Cody climbs his way back up the card. I still think it has to be Cody. I still think the whole finish the story thing needs to come true. That needs to happen. But for half a year, they can keep those two away from each other and do other things. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think in the moment we definitely wanted to see it, and that's happened a couple of times in Roman Reigns' run. I think like Montreal with Sami Zayn, I think people got a bit tied up in thinking, oh, it'll be a really cool moment. But moments only take you so far, and like a really good title run is they have to. Cheers, Michael. I hope you feel better soon.
See you soon, Michael. Sorry we missed that, mate. Take care.
But yeah, I think in terms of longevity, it was the right decision. But yeah, we'll. I think it remains to be seen because they need to end it at some point, and I think they need to make it. We were discussing it earlier on. I think it's one of those things where they keep deliberately doing a similar ending to all these matches, and then at one point they'll do that ending, but it won't end. If that makes sense, they'll have Solo Sikoa get involved, do the Simone spike, but then the person kicks out, and then the person goes on to beat Roman Reigns, and that's when it means that much more because you're like everyone thinks they know which direction it's going, and then you kind of subvert it and go in a different direction, and that's when it kind of will mean something. And you can only really give that to someone who you're confident will take that moment and then create their own legacy as well. It sounds a little bit deep for 20 past one.
No, it's true.
In the UK,
no, but it's true.
I think Cody didn't need that necessarily. Cody's story is a different story. It's a story of like proving yourself and redemption. But whoever beats Roman, it's going to be you are now the new face of WWE. And I don't think that's Cody's story necessarily. Like he can be the face of WWE, but that's not the main thing. His comes at a different time. Maybe it is him who does it eventually, but I think it's going to be someone else. I think Cody's story takes him elsewhere for quite a while now. And the Brock Lesnar thing, I think, is going really, really well. That visual of Brock Lesnar screaming, "Look at my face," was an awesome moment. One of the better ones they've had this year, and one of the best in Brock's career because him screaming that is pretty terrifying.
It's see, I'm of the view that I like the idea, first of all, now of. Do you remember when I fantasy booked how I hoped this would all go down with the Usos turning on Roman and all of that, and none of that came to pass. But it's coming to pass now after Mania. I just kind of thought it'd be before. So it's, but yeah, like this year, it wouldn't be spinning the wheels if they were to have, first of all, this to break down at. If this was to break down now between these guys, which it's obviously going to do, then we have like a bit of a tag team feud between the two of them. Maybe they come back together, maybe they don't, maybe one of them walks away. But I do think I like the idea of Jimmy fighting Roman and just getting absolutely destroyed. No, like even if it's a match on TV or whatever. And I love the idea of Jay and Roman then having a run like they did a couple of years ago. And maybe have a do-over of the Hell in a Cell match where this time he doesn't use his brother against him. That'd be great. But then Roman uses Solo to win, and Roman keeps using Solo to win, like he did against Drew at Clash, like he did against Cody, Sammy. I love the idea of when Roman has only got Solo left, and Solo's brothers have disowned him. Roman does one more thing. And Solo jumps off the apron at Mania, refuses to help Roman like that. You know what? I love the pop I've got now is first of all for when Jay goes at him, but the next pop is reserved for when Solo shows some disloyalty. That's what I'm really looking forward to now.
I'm a bit distracted because the Brawling Brutes are coming out, and it sounds like they've got a new theme tune.
Ooh, and what are they wearing? What are they? They're wearing some kit.
Yeah, it's a sort of football kit style top.
It's not. Is it an actual team? Because I won't know that.
No, it's like I think the Way did it as well, didn't they? Where they've kind of like got their own. It looks like a football kit, but it's in that sort of style. But yeah, they've got a very kind of, I don't know, it almost sounds like a Dropkick Murphys track.
I'm just blown away by Sheamus' suspenders. So Ant is saying, if Cody won, there would be nowhere to go after that. The story is him getting to that. Well, that's what you always said, Ant, isn't it? Because I was of the view there are lots of places they can go, but I do agree. I think there are places they can go, but I do agree it's better for him to chase for a bit longer, because the real story here, as we've talked about, is the breakup of the bloodline. It was, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It was never about Sami. It was never about Drew. It was never about Cody. It was always about the fight between Jay and Roman. And I don't even think Jay needs to get the title. It's about the redemption for Jay is standing up to Roman.
Yes, boy.
Oh, here they are. So we've got a match. So let's give Hassan his vote. So I'll just quickly do the banner. There we go. So Pretty Deadly. Is this their proper debut, Andy?
Yeah, they had the backstage skit with Brawling Brutes last week, where they call themselves the I think it was the tastiest snack on SmackDown, or Snackdown, wasn't it? Snackdown, that was it.
They are good.
I'm intrigued to see how they get over.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I hope the American audience take to them, in the way that the NXT audience has. But the NXT audience liking something is no guarantee of success on the main roster, as we've learned the harsh way time and time again. I'll just quickly do the vote.
A kind of cool 80s synth pop theme as well, which suits them.
Look at that! What they do have? I've got them doing Aeroplane, like
in slow motion.
Yeah, what the hell? That's really funny. Pete Dunne is going to kill you both now. That's the next thing that happens. There we go. Okay, so let's have a quick vote.
I know you put a vote up, but I'd be interested to hear if you think they're getting a win tonight or not.
I think they could cheat to win, couldn't they? I think because we know they can go when the chips are down, but they're not prepared for Pete Dunne and Ridge, are they? So I think they have the heels, and the sniveling heels as well, aren't they? That's their thing. They're not like the Samoa Joe style or the Brock Lesnar heels. These are sniveling heels. They're not monsters. So they're like the Miz. They'll or to a point MJF. Pretty Deadly. Brawling Brutes. There you go, guys. Vote is live.
By the way, cool little quirk here that this tag match is an all-English affair.
Oh, yeah. I nearly just, like it's some kind of contrarian, corrected you going, Sheamus is Irish, don't you know? But
he's not in the match, is he?
He's not in the match. Exactly, yeah. It's we've got a Brummie. We've got, where's Ridge is from Yorkshire, isn't he? Pretty Deadly, presumably from down south somewhere.
Yeah, one of them's from Essex, and one of them's from, I think, is actually from London as well. So,
shocker.
So, forgive my. I'm trying to think. Is it Kit Prince? Kit? What? Why am
Busted open?
Yeah, he seems to have a bloody nose a lot.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's just been. Oh, does he get one often? Yeah, maybe he's just got a loose thingy bob. So let's just. Oh, so Ant is off to bed. Night, Ant. Thank you for joining us and capping Andy doing his Rick Boogs thing. I'm looking forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Catriana is asking, why do you have to always say, can I get a vote? To be fair, Catriana, we offer the vote. Hassan is right to remind us. And Hassan, as I've said this before, is our resident democracy enthusiast. And we need more of them in 2023. So it's all good. And to be fair, he reminds me when I forget. So without Hassan, I won't be doing my job. So
we like the engagement. We like to know what you like. Who you going for? Who you rooting for? Who do you think's going to win? The engagement's what keeps us going in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah, it is. And so Hassan never change. And Sassy's saying I want them to renew a feud with the New Day, but now on separate brands. Do you know what though, Sassy? Like I'd be game for that in the future, but right now I feel like that could just get drowned in silliness with two, let's be honest, two really silly teams full of very, very talented people, but I don't want maximum male models anywhere near them. Although I have to admit that it would be interesting to see them try and out-dandy each other. That I think that could be quite fun. But I feel like, I don't know, is it something for the Royal Rumble for like a 2-minute thing rather than a feud? Would I want to see a catwalk off between them in the Rumble for a moment? That'd be entertaining. I'd enjoy that. Hassan likes his votes, and it always helps remind us. Hard to remember it on every stream. Yeah, because we're not. Is the thing, guys. We're talking at you. We forget the stuff that we've got to do in the back end, which is plenty of stuff like fiddling around with. So the amount of times I've left that banner on like an hour after is unreal. So thank you, Hassan, and Night Ant. Now Catriona has been informed.
And Catriona, we also enjoy your fantasy booking, so feel free to keep telling us what you want to see.
And you asked us a little while ago, who do we want to see you do it with? Well, fantasy book. And that's not the point. The point is you've got to do it. If we tell you who it is, then we're fantasy booking, not you. So you do it, not us.
So we haven't had any fantasy booking yet for Money in the Bank, which is the next premium live event. So tell us who you'd like to see in the Money in the Bank matches, or who you'd like to see on that card, because that's one across here for us to see in London.
And we are very much we're planning on going, aren't we, Andy? We've got plans in place. We're just waiting for a few things a few irons in the fire that are still getting hot, isn't it? Really, it's fair to say.
Yes, it's not an easy process or one that's particularly straightforward for getting, I guess, like up-to-date information or kind of even be able to pre-plan. It doesn't go down like that. You've got to be on your toes and wait for a last-minute invitation for the media-wise. And I will definitely be there either way. I do have a ticket, but we'll see what happens when it comes to media coverage. But don't worry, Gimme A Hull Yeah and WrestleSphere and Wrestling Royalty will all keep you up to date with all the goings-on around Money in the Bank and SmackDown and any other events that happen in the UK, including All In.
You speak for yourself, mate. I'm just going to go and get drunk. You can do as much coverage as you. Although, I tell a lie. When we were at Mania, I was doing all the WrestleSphere live tweeting, and Dan Hargreaves was doing all the Gimme A Hull Yeah live, because we had two channels we had to support. And flipping it, were we getting numbers on the WrestleSphere one? Like the views, I'd put out a tweet just on what had happened, and all of a sudden you've got like 1,000 views per tweet. It's like, what the hell? It's a shame all those people didn't click follow. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I got like 3 followers.
You've been monetized already, mate.
I know. It's like, what the hell? But anyway. And thank you, Sassy, for putting us over. Andy and Sam do an amazing job. And we haven't got Diva Dom. Where's Diva Dom? What's going on?
Tucked up in bed after a wedding.
Tucked up in bed, snuggling his dog and his girlfriend.
Not his wedding, by the way, but I think he was at a wedding today.
Oh, was he really? No. Catriana's saying, I'm about to play 2K22 with my dad. See, I'm not massively feeling 2K22. Is that bad? I feel like it's too
War
similar.
Games match.
No, not yet.
It's quite fun. There's a few like funny little like quirks on it, so it's definitely worth having a bit of a play around with the different modes. But they're a bit they are getting a bit samey. I think they need to mix up a little bit somehow.
But it's like, Catriona. Yeah, sorry, I was talking about 2K 2023. I've just realised we're in a different year. Yeah, it's when I don't know what year it is, it's not going well, is it? But yeah, I thought 2K23 was a little bit too similar to 2K22. I know it's a little bit more refined, and that's fine, but I've got, again, as a guy who works in the gaming industry, like as a journalist, I have a bit of an issue with annual releases of games. I get why sports games do it, because not only do you sell a copy a year, but the teams mix up, the rosters change, things like that. So I do get it, but come on now. I think you do get away with doing it for every 2 years.
Sorry. So Pretty Deadly have just got the win in laughable circumstances. They did the 10 beats of what I always call Balrog. I know it's not Balrog because that's Lord of the Ring, but it sounds like it because they'd tied one in the ropes and one was getting in the ring. And then as the referee was distracted trying to help Pete Dunne out, I think is Elton Prince, the blonde one.
I've no idea. Blonde or brunette is all I know.
Elton Prince is the blonde one. So Elton Prince was tied up in the ropes with his arms kind of tied, and then he freed himself. They hit their spilt milk finisher, and then he tied himself back up to look like he hadn't moved at all.
They are good. I was going to say, WWE, if you want me to remember people's names, stop changing them every 5 minutes. That is what I would say. But fair enough. Do you know what, Sassy? I had this the other day with Jack, because everyone's like in the wrestling community is talking all like, the AEW games coming out any minute now. And here's the thing, like, they're not going to release it. They're not just going to release it as a surprise. That isn't how they release games. What they give a release date and they give a code date for when journalists are going to get to play it and that often comes after the betas, by the way. That often comes after the beta tests. They'll give journalists at least a week or so to play it. And then they'll release it with a scheduled release date, because everyone's under the impression we're going to wake up in the morning, it's going to be on shelves. So that's not how it's going to happen. I feel like I've had that argument with about 8 people this week.
I mean, to be fair, it could, but it wouldn't bode well for the game, because generally speaking, it's the same with movies. If a movie's released without any press screenings, it's generally because they don't want the press to absolutely rip it apart.
Yeah.
Generally, there are exceptions to that rule. But yeah, it wouldn't bode well if it just suddenly appeared to be released.
Yeah. Like if they do anything like that, where they stealth release it or surprise release it, or if Tony Khan comes on screen on an episode of AEW or a pay-per-view and goes, surprise, it's releasing tomorrow, and I've not already played it, in my day job, be afraid, and whatever you do, don't buy it, because it'll be crap if that's the case. My advice is wait for the reviews, wait for a release date, because I feel like a lot of people are very, very anxious to play it, and I feel like a lot of people are getting their hopes up a little bit too soon. Like, it might be a great game, but it ain't going to be the thing that knocks off. I don't know, like what's like Diablo 4 or Final Fantasy 15. It's not going to be the game that comes along and changes the industry. I promise you that. It'll look a lot like a 2K game. I know that. I already know that for a fact. But it might play a little bit more arcadey, which would be nice to set itself apart from 2K. But even then, Andy, even if they stealth release something, they usually give about, like, at the very least, they give you about 48 hours. Because what they do, they give you something.
I'd imagine there would have been a beta release like properly as well, like for this kind of thing. I think they want to get a bit of a buzz around it. But yeah, just on the SmackDown, by the way, we've just seen a nice tribute video to superstar Billy Graham, who obviously sadly passed away this week. So rest in peace, more rest in power, whatever your preference is there to the superstar. Who that was actually a really nice little tribute video.
Yeah,
where it shows you him being one of the kind of first true heels in an entertaining way, where he beat Bruno Sammartino for the championship way back in the day. I feel like did he do some bit of commentary during the golden era as well?
I can't remember,
I feel like he had like a earring thing as well, didn't he? That's the main thing I remember about him is he always had funky earrings on.
All my wrestling knowledge from those eras, from before the Attitude Era, kind of like just blends into one big blob. Sometimes I have to go digging to pull it out, because I started watching before the Attitude Era, but didn't start watching religiously. Until I've already told my story, haven't I? I saw the Stone Cold versus Bret Hart match, and was like, wow. That was
13, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
The
Yeah,
submission match.
Yeah, the Crimson Mask. It's the double turn. It's the best double turn I've ever seen, and it's probably, I don't think I'll ever see a better double turn than that. And it's so subtle the way they did it. There's no moment where either man turns. It's just a slow burn throughout the match. One comes out a villain, the other comes out a hero. By the time they both go back, they've switched roles within the match, and that to me is the pinnacle of this art. Like the way they did that, because they both read the crowd immaculately. They both Hart just becomes more and more of a vicious savage in that match, where Stone Cold becomes less of a slob and more of a warrior. It's such a good match. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. I absolutely adore it. And while we've got ads, I've neglected the comments. So what we got? Scatriana saying, "Is it just going to be yeah?" I don't know. I don't understand the question, in truth. Hey, mate on the right. That's Andy, I think. Who will win? Will Ospreay versus Wesley? Who do you think, Andy?
That'll be such a good match.
Have we not seen that before on the Indies? I'm sure we have somewhere at some point.
I know, but I feel like Wesley's kind of hit his strides at the moment in NXT as North American champion. He was good in the Rascals, but I think he's gone next level now since he's gone as a solo. I mean, to be honest, it probably would be Will Ospreay who wins, but it depends what show it's booked on. But I'd love to see it. Probably Ospreay, but I'd like to see Wesley win it because I think I just think Wesley looks like a star. Like he's got the look, and he's slick in the ring as well.
I'm in mourning for his previous name. Is that weird? Like, he was called Desmond Xavier. That was his name, or Des when they leaned into his Rascals thing, and they changed his name to all of the things they could have called him. They called him Wesley.
Yeah, but you couldn't call him Xavier, would you? Because there's a reason why you couldn't do it.
But there's others. But Wesley, I'm not so much lamenting the loss of Desmond Xavier, or they could have called him Des X. So there's so many, there's loads of stuff they could have done. But Wesley, say that fast. It's Wesley. Wesley's the guy you beat up for lunch money. No disrespect to anyone out there called Wesley, but Wesley's the guy who tells the teacher on you because you kicked a ball through the window. You know, like Wesley or Wesley. Like, I weep sometimes for the names, and I wonder who pitched that, who approved it, and who thought it was a good idea. And from a fan perspective, who hears that name and thinks, right, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Wesley. I want to pull my hair out with some of their names sometimes. I don't know. It's just me. I can't see Wesley with that name main eventing WrestleMania. He looks great in the ring, awesome guy. That name just doesn't sit right with me. I know I'm only one man and I need to just get over it and shut up, but I don't know.
Well, we've got Wesley versus Dragon Lee versus Keith Lee. I'm sure there's someone Lee.
There's a lot of Lees, actually, isn't there? There's quite a lot of Lees. Like, Keith Lee sounds fine. Dragon Lee, it sounds great. It works.
No, because Keith Lee, if you say it quickly, is Keith Lee. There's a Keith Lee in Yorkshire, isn't there?
Is that? I don't know. But I feel like Keith Lee is two very defined syllables, though, where Wesley flows into itself in a name that makes it just, they had to have known that when they gave it him. And maybe they think they're being clever. I just think they're creatively devoid sometimes with those names. I'm struggling to get into his title run because of that. I don't know. I need to go. I have a very, very, very. I'm a really. If something gets stuck in my head in wrestling, I can never get it out. I don't know. There's Zelina enjoying her helmet.
Yeah, I'm the same. But that's more of opinions on people rather than like names. Like I've never been able to get on board with Oscar, who we're about to see. I don't know if you want to change the banner.
Oh yeah.
It looks like we're getting Oscar versus Zelina Vega here.
Vega's going to get killed, isn't she?
Poor Zelina. Jeez, that's 2 losses it's going to be in a row. Unless Bianca costs. But I don't see why they would do that.
I mean, like, at least they're using Zelina Vega in more of a capacity, more than they did when she's a valet. Like, at least, like, it's okay to get some losses because it can make you look plucky. It doesn't bury you. There are losses and losses, and some losses make you look all right, make you look just like you're climbing up. Because then when you get that win means more,
Yeah.
So I think like when Zelina does get a win, the crowd will pop. But they've got to be careful. They've got to give it her eventually. But she ain't going to get it against Asuka. See, I'm different with Asuka. I was a fan of Asuka when she was Kana, so I'm kind of into it. And I'm just going to quickly do some admin and get the banner updated, etc., etc. So hide.
I do like the new flashy, almost Daft Punk helmet they've given her for an entrance, though.
Yeah, I was thinking that. She looks like a Power Ranger. Lena Vega. It's Asuka. See, I'm a big fan of Asuka because I love her, like her kicks and her martial arts thing, and I love it when she's crazy and vicious. But I like her as a vicious heel, and so I like what they're doing now. And Fiora, she didn't win at Mania. I hope she wins at in Saudi Arabia.
I'm more of the one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of her, and it sounds like so marky, like insider, like jargon, is everything she does is a heel like characteristics, but she tries to portray herself as a face, and the commentators portray her as a face. And it's a really weird like thing because you're not supposed to like her. Like at the end of the day, she spits like mist in people's face, which is disgusting. If someone did that to me, I'll be absolutely livid.
Does it happen often?
No, it doesn't, because I think I wouldn't be on the stream if it happened often. I'd probably be somewhere else. I think, like, honestly, if I was a wrestler and they were like, right, so the plan is tonight we're going to spit in your face, like that one that you remember Christian when he spat in Randy Orton's face and he got himself and Randy got himself disqualified.
Yeah.
There's no way you could get me to agree to it. I would rather take a stink face from Rikishi than someone spit in my face.
How do you feel about? Because I've always been grossed out by, and I've had therapy to get over that. Seeing Rikishi do that, I have to skip those parts in the Rumble. I can't stomach that at all. I swear to you, I couldn't then. But it's like I find Carlito spitting the apple gross, and I don't know if the COVID era has made me a little bit more squeamish. I think it has, but
he was at the For the Love of Wrestling in Manchester. And he got asked about it. He said, has anyone ever refused to take it? And he said, no, it's really weird. People started taking it as like a badge of honor that they got selected to it. And he got asked some really weird questions. He's like, what's your favorite apple? Is it a Granny Smith or a Golden Delicious or a Pink Lady? And he's like, mate, I don't care as long as it's not a tiny apple. He's like, the tiny apples can't do anything with. But he's like, there's an art to it. You've got to chew it in a certain way because you don't want it to be too chewed, but you don't want it to be like just a big chunk of apple that you spit in someone's face. So, yeah, he's a connoisseur of spitting apples at this point in his career.
I agree with Sassy. I'm just no spitting, full stop. No, I don't want saliva going on me unless it's an accident.
Yeah, but anyway, my point is, the stuff that Asuka does and the way she kind of portrays herself, it is very heelish, but they never go that way, and it really annoys me because I'm like, she's not a face just because she's like a colourful character. She's got like colourful hair or whatever, or wears colourful clothes. It's such a weird mix of like wrestling psychology, and it really
Yeah.
like hurts my head. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel about you. And I just think she's a bit like maybe my when she was in NXT, where it turned into a bit too long a run, soured me on her a little bit, because I was like, I really wanted Emma Moon to win, or I really wanted like
Oh, I
someone.
laughed when she lost. I was completely different. I wanted Ember. I love her in Ring of Honor right now. I love her run in Ring of Honor. But no, Ember Moon kept making me cringe. So every time she lost, I laughed. I found her. I actually thought she was the heel in that story because of how needy she was. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, like one of my favorite memories is WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. I was sat very close to a girl who had flown in from Japan, and bless her, she had an awful night that night because Nakamura turned heel and lost, and she was chanting the whole way through for Nakamura, and then Oscar lost as well to Charlotte, and I just remember like she was absolutely sobbing because her two like heroes had both failed, and it really amused me.
It was really annoying that as well because like I the fact that Charlotte ended that streak, that was just they sacrificed, they almost irreparably damaged Asuka to put over Charlotte again,
Yeah,
and then they did it again this year. I was just like, F off WWE. But I mean, like they had Shinsuke and Asuka both win those Royal Rumbles and made both of them come up short at WrestleMania. So it was like, what is the point of even doing the Royal Rumble stuff? Like, why did you even bother? I'm not saying if you win the Rumble, you are guaranteed a win at Mania. Of course not. But flipping hell, could one of them have got somewhere? I think Shinsuke losing was the right call because they were obviously it was 50-50 booking from their Japan match a little bit. But Asuka should have won that match. So, and she should have won that. She certainly should have won the one this year. I nearly threw my bloody hot dog in the direction of the ring when that happened. I was furious. I was more mad at that than I was at the main event. I genuinely was. Like, and I don't think I'm alone because it's why the crowd are booing Bianca. The crowd, the bored of her. You know, like turning up, swinging your hair, being like so sweet it's sickening, and saying girl. It takes more than that to be a hero, I think. I don't know.
I mean, out of the two of them, I would prefer. I think Nakamura would be a better champion because we've had Oscar as a champion. I thought it was a very forgettable reign. Personally,
yeah, it was.
I just don't think they know what to do with her, but they seem to be right. So here's case in point. She's holding the submission move. She's just won on it. She just won it. She's holding it. This is the first time I've actually seen her. Surely she's the heel here, but then Bianca's going to get booed. So they put her in the wrong feud again.
Yeah, I think. Are they fighting? No, because they're not. Are they? Because they're leaning in. They were leaning into Bianca being a heel, weren't they? A week or two ago. Now she's being all heroic and coming to help Zelina. So, but I didn't imagine that Bianca was being a bit bitchy a few weeks ago and just being a little bit more heelish. Now, if Zelina attacks Bianca here, that'd be awesome. Go on, Zelina, get her. I've got no beef with Bianca Belair. I just want a title reign to end. And she missed it again. Oh dear.
So she missed her with the mist to most of it anyway. She only got her a little bit, but then she goes dancing down the aisle, and it's like she's got such a bouncy theme tune. It's not heel; it's annoying.
Like I know what you mean. Like the Asuka's definitely
the presentation
the heel.
doesn't suit what you're supposed to be and what you're doing. I just think it's wrong. It sets off the format.
Is the flamboyance of it though? Does that make it the fact? Like, does that jarring flamboyance make?
I don't know
make
because
the bad guy.
You've seen like, I don't think it's done quite right though, because in that respect, that's like, I know you're not probably shouldn't say it, but like Velveteen Dream was massively flamboyant. Pretty Deadly are flamboyant, but you know they're heels because you kind of like, actually, I'd love to see you get punched in the face. That's the only way like over flamboyancy kind of works, is because you're like, eventually you're going to get knocked down a peg. That's not what they're trying with Asuka. They're trying to make her this kind of like, oh, you're a bit weird and a bit quirky and kooky and whatever. But it kind of comes across as why, because she's Japanese and she's got a little bit of a different culture. Like, it doesn't hit right for me.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, because I'd never really noticed that until now, and it is true. Like the commentators are like, "Oh, there's Asuka being Asuka." There's none of that. That is disgusting. Why is she doing that? She's a bloody disgrace. Where you've got what's he called? Graves going, "Oh, Asuka's just doing this," like defending her, and like he does to the heels. Like,
She's such a good wrestler. It's fine because it makes up for it. The fact that she's technically gifted. She's just spat in someone's face. She's a bad guy. Tell people that she's a bad guy. Speaking of bad guys, Grayson Waller's coming out.
Oh, yes. As well, I think they're worried about Bianca Belair because the crowd are turning on her. Because if I was the bookers, I'd be worried about that. And do you know what they need to do, WWE? Lean into it. Like you started doing, lean into it. Make Bianca Belair be a little bit more arrogant and see where it goes. And it doesn't have to be Asuka that she feuds with. Let it be. Let's maybe Zelina. I don't know. Let's do something with Zelina, something good, because the time is now, isn't it, for Zelina? I'd say.
Like a Moloko song. The time is now.
Some nice new t-shirts there. I want them all.
I might get you that hat with the Bianca Belair ponytail that comes out of it.
I will wear it ironically. If you do. You get Cody boxer shorts. I'll get Jess going. What else have we got?
I'd love some single wrestling fan to go on a night out in a pair of Cody Rhodes boxer shorts and then pull someone and then be like, oh, that's not happening anymore because you've got a pair of Cody Rhodes boxer shorts.
Or you can get yourself over completely by going, are you ready to meet the American Nightmare?
I know. Well, it could be worse. If it was, they're still doing that thing with Roman Reigns where it was like something like "Call Me Daddy" or whatever the hell that was about.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Do you remember the one where they started talking about his penis and Roman just smugly smiles, gets the microphone and goes, "Big dog," and I was like, yeah, get like
you're a father. What are you doing?
I mean, it was a very obviously Vince has told him to say it, so he's got to say it. But I was like, it was delivered with absolute that was a man who was like, please don't let me say this.
Yeah, somehow it's not the worst thing he's ever said, which goes to the sucker in succotash.
It's just some sucker in succotash, son.
Oh, I actually don't mind the suffering succotash thing. It's the sun at the end of it.
Yeah, it extends it further, doesn't it? It's just
it's.
Oh, Misfit, mate. I work in the industry. There ain't no avoiding them spoilers. It's just when you work doing this for a job, you just make your peace with it. Same with games. I had to write an article the other day all about the Zelda game, explaining the ending. I haven't even played it yet. I had to explain the ending, so I got all the spoilers from my friend who's been playing the review code for weeks before it came out. And then he was like, "Yeah, Sam, this is what happens. That's what happens." Gave me the bullet points of what happened. Gave me some videos and some pictures, and I'm like, I hate this. No, I don't. I loved it. I love my job completely. But I remember thinking, it's a good job I'm not that bothered about spoilers, isn't it? Or I have a career where I have absolutely no control over spoilers. It is what it is. But hello, Misfit. Thank you for joining us. With your encyclopedic wrestling knowledge, which I don't have at 2 a.m. So it's good to have you here because my brain works a lot slower at this time of the morning. Although Andy's is still pretty good. There we go. Oh, we're back. Are we getting Grayson Waller now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. This will be nice. Let's just kill the banner.
The man with the triple platinum tongue. Jesus. The dynamite from down under. He's getting a big intro here.
He's a star. He's going to be a massive star, isn't he? Oh, yeah, don't worry, dude. We know. Been doing this a long time. Following their international shows, I mean. Always makes sense for them to do a taping. Although it's good that they're not doing it in London. It's good that they're going bang, straight live, bang, straight back. Are you doing the London SmackDown, Andy? I know we've had this conversation tonight before the stream, haven't we? But
I do have a combo ticket that would allow me into SmackDown and Money in the Bank.
See, I'm thinking like I said, they told us one or the other. So I'm thinking, obviously, we're going to do the pay-per-view, but I'm not that bothered about the SmackDown. I'm just not. Like, go home shows, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen in a go home show, so I ain't paid to see it. It's like I don't like, because I'm of the view that they'll probably do the press stuff on the Friday, so I'm going to try and just quickly watch SmackDown in bed that morning, like on my iPad. That's what I might do. We'll see.
The only thing I would say is if you watch the stuff from Puerto Rico a couple of weeks back for Backlash, that wasn't a bad episode of SmackDown. That, to be fair, and Money in the Bank's always an interesting one because I always want them to do that promo where they have everyone sat on top of a ladder talking to each other, because I thought that was one of the cooler things they've ever done.
Did it end with them all pushing each other off?
Probably. Like if I see someone I'm supposed to fight in 2 days sat on top of a ladder, you damn right I'm pushing them off.
I'm going you straight away.
And I'm trying to do it in a domino effect where I can take them all out in one push.
That's what I do. I remember thinking, oh, this has got disaster written all over it when that started. Forgotten about that. Is it me or does the Night of Champions logo just every time I see it, it reminds me of a cheeseburger? Every time I see it, I want a Mackey's now. You know what? Misfit makes a very good point here. This is great. It's nice for Bianca Belair to go over the fact that Zelina Vega poisoned her husband and came out to make the save, which is getting beaten down by Asuka. Misfit, are you suggesting WWE has a short memory and a continuity problem? Because surely not. WWE, like if you like keeping track of who hates who, like it's just ridiculous, isn't it? The worst one I've ever seen is AEW's first massive continuity clanger. And it's a big one. I don't know if you know about this, Andy, but they had the wrestler QT Marshall having some weird romance with Ali or the Bunny in AEW. And it turned out she was just manipulating him for reasons. I don't know. It never really went anywhere. I think money or something, or some kind of access to, I don't know. And it ended with him like getting over that and moving on. And she just mysteriously went back to her husband, who is also on the roster, the Blade. And then like about a month or so later, like where this was still within memory, he turns heel. His wife stands up in Daly's place and he goes, "That's my wife. We've been together 10 years. We've done this. We've done that." And I'm like, whoa. So what were you doing messing around with the Bunny a few weeks ago? Like, and it was just, that is when there was the first AEW continuity clanger where I thought, is Vince McMahon writing this? Like, this is 2019 Vince McMahon booking this, where he was forgetting week to week.
Speaking of continuity, I'm glad that they have addressed the fact that Grayson Waller and AJ Styles have a little bit of history from NXT. They did address that straight away on this because they crossed words and
he even came to Raw, didn't he, to try and menace Styles?
Yeah.
I like it when they do
ringside with popcorn, wasn't he?
Yeah. I like it when they do that. That's a really good way to get more eyes on NXT. Have them come up and piss about with the main roster guys.
Grayson Waller's goading AJ Styles, and he said it's going to be Seth Rollins who is the winner.
I love how these are all totally real comments we're getting on the banner beneath Grayson Waller.
Did you see one of them was from Stu Bennett?
Was it?
Yeah.
What did he say? Yeah, I saw the name pop up, but I didn't
You
read the
just
comment.
something like him or loathe him. You'll always pay attention to Grayson Waller.
Well, that's good continuity, isn't it? That's good because like he was watching him in NXT for so long, so that actually makes a load of sense. Oh, they don't come to fisticuffs? What's going on? I thought we were watching SmackDown.
It's not time, mate. That's not the story right now. We've got AJ Styles going up against Seth Rollins in a week, so I think it's just planting that first seed, isn't it? For
hang on, we just saw
after.
a chat show in WWE that didn't end in violence. Is that not a first?
True.
I mean, it's like a contract signing. I loved that contract signing they did a few years ago, where CM Punk goes, "Come on, we all know this. How this ends. One of us is going through that table. Do you want me to do it? Do you want to do it?" That was brilliant.
Here we go. Match of the night. Street Profits are coming out for the what is going to be the match of the night against LA Knight and Rick. Do it, Sam.
Boogs.
Oh, Jesus. Put some bass in your voice, man.
I'm not giving you any enthusiasm for this guy. He's jacked, and I'm sure he's a very talented and very nice guy. I hate the gimmick. Hate it. Like, I wasn't a massive fan of the Street Profits gimmick when they were in NXT, but they've kind of got over with me by just being brilliant in the ring and having some good matches. I still don't like the minute... what's he called? Not Montez Ford. Who's the other guy? Dawkins.
Angelo Dawkins.
Angelo Dawkins starts going, yeah, I have to mute him. The
Yeah.
minute he does that, I'm like, I'm reaching for the remote. Mute. Shut up. But I do like their music. I love their tune. And the Sippy Cup thing, I'm amazed that got over because that was like from one moment in NXT where it just kind of became something they did all the time. And it's still going now. It's crazy. If I'm remembering that correctly.
The Solo Cup thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a time he offered it to some heel? He offered it to some big scary guy. Like and he takes a drink out of it and goes, who was it? Can't remember.
I'm not sure. I know someone's had it before and they were like, ooh, that's...
Yeah. And I like that we don't know what it is as well. Like they've never told us what's in that cup because there's nothing in it, but it's a bit of water sometimes. But
I like that comment, by the way, about Zelina earlier. Also, just completely didn't mention the fact that Zelina was okay with her husband being pretty much blinded in one eye in WWE and never made an appearance at all.
Yeah.
He is very good for continuity, by the way, Aleister Black, because he took what was a pretty rubbish gimmick of his eye almost being like, you know, like when Seth Rollins kept going for people's eyes, and obviously Rey Mysterio had the ping pong ball eyeball that they somehow managed to reattach and have never spoken about again.
Yeah, that was the worst. That was the absolute pit of the pandemic era.
But yeah, the fact that Aleister Black took that, and then obviously when he became Malachi Black, he's kept the fact he's got like a sort of like wounded eye, and he has that effect all the time. I like that. That's a really cool touch.
I do. I also like how I don't want to talk about AEW for too long, but it's certainly relevant to this conversation. But it's like I do like when the WWE guys go to AEW, they retain a semblance of the continuity of what's happened to them. Obviously, they forgot about the Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole feud because it made sense to. Although it was a good feud, it was very good. It just let's be honest. By the way, watch our previous stream on Wrestling Royalty where we discussed the Undisputed Era at length, and we get quite deep. It's pretty cool. But we were discussing, that. But like, for example, with Brody Lee, when they brought him to AEW, it's such a shame we lost him, Brody Lee. But there were references to the Wyatt family in that, and the fact that he's been a follower before and he is now a leader. That was really cool. Like that they did that. And quickly, pivoting to something else about the Rey Mysterio eye for an eye match. They took the mickey out of that on Impact, and it was really funny. They were going, "Why do we have a match where one of us has to remove the other one's eye?" And then Scott D'Amore goes, "No, that's a terrible idea for a match. Who would do that?"
But didn't they do an eye for an eye match? Wasn't Moxley in one?
AEW? Or did they
Yeah,
just call it that for marketing purposes? Because I don't remember that.
I don't think the idea was that you were supposed to take an eye out, literally, in that one. But they definitely had something called. I'm sure they had an eye for eye match.
Sassy, can you help us out with this? You're our resident Moxley our fan. I've ignored the comments, so let me just quickly let's go and see what we got.
John Moxley defeats Santana in an eye for an eye match.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it like the WWE one, or was it just some clever booking?
Trying to find out. Like, it just so, oh my God, it sounds so ridiculous. You see, in order to win the match, either Rollins or Mysterio must extract their opponent's eye. It just sounds so stupid. Like,
I mean, I'm seeing this here. Hassan, I'll do a vote now, mate. I'm seeing this here, like Bandido versus Brock. I mean, Bandido's great. He really is, but he'd get killed. You know what I mean? Like, saying that, Rey Mysterio has done Brock before, hasn't he? So
let me talk to you.
I suppose I should do a banner for Rick Bloody Boogs, which is what I'm going to call him from now on.
AEW's was just metaphorical. They had done eye violence to one another. They were having a wrestling match to settle the score. There were some eye-focused offense during said match, but Mox won by pinfall.
Like, they had kids watching that WWE one. You know what I mean? Like, that... It was just ridiculous. It was... Why did they ever think that was going to be a good thing to do? They make it hard sometimes to defend them. They like, because I always want to defend them, WWE. It's like, I'm allowed to attack them. If I ever hear someone else doing it, I want to go and give them a slap. But it's like, when that comes up, it's like, oh, what can I do? Why is Rick...
What a name, by the way. Boogalicious Knights.
That's the only reason they've done this. That is the only reason.
I think they're doing this because there's some weird turn coming here where LA Knight just ends up destroying Boogs.
Yeah. But the crowd wants to cheer LA Knight, doesn't it? Like, so are they going to lean into that? The crowd want to
cheer Boogs because he's such a hero.
I'm so glad I didn't see him live.
Look at the size of him.
He is, he's very impressive. That is a man who spends a lot of time in the gym. I spend a lot of time in the gym. I don't.
That is how you know Vince McMahon is not in charge. Because if he was in charge right now, Rick Boogs would be WWE champion. He'd be tag team champion. He'd be Intercontinental champion at the same time.
Look, there's definitely a place for him. I just find that gimmick just obnoxious. And if he was a heel, it'd be good obnoxious. But because he's a face, I just want him to... Do you remember when Vince wanted to put a blue dot over Christian's face? Do you remember that? I want to see a blue dot covering Rick Boogs. So here we go. LA Knight, Rick Boogs versus the Street Profits. And what the hell is Montez Ford doing? Bouncing off Boogs like he didn't even feel it. He blew himself up with his thumb.
He's doing a full press on Ford, Montez Ford.
Just gonna do a vote for the crew. Oh, 50-50 on that last one, guys. I think you're going for a fly, Montez.
He is booging out.
Is that something one of the commentators?
Sam is absolutely loving this.
He's not. Sam wants to smoke more than ever tonight. I'm going to need an actual smoke as well if Boogs stays on my screen any longer. Right. Who else have we got? If we ever interview him, you're welcome to tell him this.
I would
Actually, no,
love
please.
to interview. Do you know who else would love to interview him? Dom, because
Yeah.
dude is a massive metalhead.
Yeah. He's got Sound Sphere written all over him, doesn't he, Rick Boogs?
Yeah, or Rush on Rock, depending on it. Or both.
Yeah. I believe Rebellious Noise would like a crack as well.
I would presume. See, that's 3 titles that people want to read, and they want to read about Boogs.
Yeah, there you go. I stand corrected. And what
Said the man in the orthopedic shoes.
Bloody hell, like, he's a monster. Look at the size of him. He's like Freddie Mercury on steads.
Yeah, LA Knight's kind of no selling everything here. He's just like, yeah, okay, I don't really care who you are, you're just on my team.
Who wins? It's gonna be over before I can bloody ball. Right, Rick Boogs. Boogalicious Knights versus Street. Well, they spell it profits, don't they? Profits. Come on then, guys. I think I spelled it wrong on the. Did I? LA Knight and Rick Boogs. I've just got Montez Ford on the ticket. I should have put Street Profits. Let's fix it.
It's not a handicap match, guys.
So many jokes I want to make there, but that won't. It's awful. Oh, well, nice clothesline.
Oh, Boogs. Come on, man. Accidentally clotheslining his own partner.
So we're saying Cody versus Brock is just filler. I'm not so sure about that, Sassy. I'm not going to lie. It's something I've always wanted to see. So I'm actually happy we're getting it.
Street Profits with the win.
Good. Here is your Mega LA Knight push. I sincerely hope it's coming. I like the match Bandido's speed and strength. This is Brock's brutal style. They're both in different companies, though, aren't they? And I don't know if Bandido, like Brock, only works for people who've got a certain amount of clout in the industry. I don't know if Bandido's there yet. And I don't even know why. Like, the point is moot. He works for AW and Ring of Honor, doesn't he?
Surely LA Knight's destroying him here, by the way.
Yeah, yep. You got to think so.
There you go.
Boogs is built like a young Scott Steiner. He is. Oh, he's going to help him up and then annihilate him, innit? I think I'm a few seconds behind you, Andy.
Yeah.
Because he's already killed him, I imagine, on your screen. Yeah. There you go.
Do you feel like LA Knight's finish is all right, but I do feel like I don't know if it's believable as a finisher. How do you feel about that? Because it's almost like a sort of like stunner that you don't fully commit to.
Yeah, I feel like too many other people do that, and I don't think we need to see someone else do it. You know, I'm just going to catch up some of these comments. I have breaking news about Raw. Oh dear, do let us know. But I imagine there's a few more comments down here, so be a great monster. There's Baron Corbin. Yeah, Rick Rude. I've always thought that as well. He does look like a bigger ravishing Rick Rude.
That's the mustache, isn't it, though?
Yeah, the minute they have that, because I see that tash and I see Freddie Mercury.
Oh, I see that tash and I just think 70s porn. Not that I'm any kind of connoisseur on 70s porn. It's a bit too hairy for my taste.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Speaking of hairy, Cameron Grimes is on the screen.
They don't call him the Carolina Caveman for nothing. I thought you were talking about Megan or whatever her name is. For a moment. I was like, oh dear.
The moon.
This ain't the end of the team. I don't know, mate. Get a shovel for LA Knight. What? I think the whole point of that match was for him to be a douchebag to Boogs, wasn't it? Oh, the women's. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Cameron Grimes was Trevor Lee in Impact, but while he was in Impact, he was also like very prominent on the Indies. He was All American Wrestling's champion.
Sorry,
and
Trevor who?
Trevor Lee.
Trevor Lee. Is that another Lee for the list?
That's another Lee. But luckily, that name works, unlike bloody Wesley, whose lunch money I'm gonna take when I see him. You know what?
I'd love to see you try.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Dude's got about like 12 abs. But someone's going
Yeah.
to take his lunch money off of him because he's called Wesley.
Come here, Wesley.
He's beat down time nerd.
Do you know what? Do you know what though? He'd be so like. This is what I've always thought about these matches. He'd be there doing all these backflips. I'm just going to do one thing: kick him in the balls and leave.
Again,
you know, I only need one shot. I only need one shot.
All right, Eminem, chill out.
Yeah, dun, 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 dun. I'm going to write on my hand. I found a highlighter.
Say Eminem. It's probably more like JLS.
See, no, I'm not even cool enough to be JLS. Like, I'm not. I'm way too old even for JLS. I think I'm more of a. I'll soon tell you who I am. Who won X Factor and then never did anything after that?
Joe McElderry.
Yeah, I'm Joe McElderry.
Yeah.
Oh no, even he's too young. Like I imagine Joe McElderry is well into his 30s now, but Joe McElderry is one of those people who's like always like 18 forever.
Matt Cardle.
I don't even know who that is. So yeah.
Who was the I can't even remember the. There was a guy who won it. It was like Steve Brookstein or something, and he was.
Wasn't he the first winner? I know that.
I find.
I can't believe we're doing
Steve Brookstein, season 1. Yeah, you never hear him. Or you know what it is? You're actually not even on a JLS level. You're more like someone who wins The Voice, because who knows any of the people who've actually won The Voice?
I only know about 3 of the people who've ever won X Factor, to be fair. Like, as we discovered tonight, Andy, I didn't even know who Pele was.
Yeah, that's disgusting, to be fair.
No, I do. I know Pele was a very, very, very famous footballer. I did know that. Same with Maradona. I know the name and I associate it with football. I've heard those references in pop culture many, many times, but I couldn't pick either man from a lineup. I've never watched a game of football with them in it. Like, I watch football at the World Cup and the Euros until I'm bored of it, or until I realise I'm wasting my, like we're gonna lose. This isn't going where I want it to go. I usually give up just before we lose. Yeah. So that's it. Like club football, I haven't watched a football match with just like British teams. Wow, maybe for about 20 years, perhaps.
Yeesh.
There was a concerted effort when I was a child to get me more into football. But the more they did that, the more I just kind of pushed back. Because my problem with football, you see, is it's all fake and predetermined. I only like real sports. And the fact that, they're running around in their shorts in football, I just want people to be slathered up in baby oil, bouncing across the ropes and wrestling each other. That to me is a much more fitting use of your time. Carrying Cross isn't dead.
We got Carrying Cross. I think he's looking good with his long hair, by the way. Looks a bit different, but he's just effectively called out AJ Styles. Call him Alan.
Oh, only the Good Brothers are allowed to call him Alan. And they've got all the trouble to have a card printed as well. Like that.
They did it for Nakamura, and then he lost to Nakamura clean as well.
That probably cost him 30 quid on Fiverr that to have that professionally designed.
Randomly, right? Have we not just seen the start of a Grayson Waller AJ Styles feud, and AJ Styles is also feuding with Seth Rollins technically at the moment?
Are they feuding though? Because it's babyface versus babyface. May the best man win.
Yeah, but as in like they're in a match, so then you've got to wait at least a week for that to be over, and then what's this crack with Grayson Waller?
I wonder if they're just trying to get Waller on the show somehow. Because I thought that ended abruptly and a bit weirdly. Like, I'm of the view that AJ should have lost his, because AJ's got a temper. AJ should have got annoyed, hit him, put him through the table, and then or Grayson could have done something to worm his way out of it. But yeah, maybe they didn't want to set up a feud. Oh, there's the cheeseburger again. Maybe they didn't want to set up the feud, and that's why they ended it so quietly and abruptly. You're right, though. I'm open for multiple. I feel like WWE has conditioned us to only ever like one person is only ever allowed to be feuding with one person at once. Because where they've got people like you and me watching, they've also got 7-year-olds watching.
Yeah.
So they've got to be like.
I think it was in the run up to Clash at the Castle. There was about 4 or 5 different people that all seemed to be gunning for Roman's title. There was like Drew, Karrion Kross, and a couple of others as well. And I like that they were all interlinked. I think they had a Raw where they all sort of got involved in some way, shape, or form. And I was like, that is much more along the lines of the Attitude Era, where you used to have The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Kane, Undertaker, all around the scene, and they'd all kind of intertwine into each other as to who was going for it at the time. So I do enjoy that as well. Yeah, more kind of multiple storylines at the same time is cool.
Yeah, I'm into that. When I tell you when it was I'm just realizing we've got the 2 Scottish girls NXT tag team titles champs versus 2 ladies I've never seen before, so I don't think it bodes well for them.
Enhancement talent.
Yeah, anyone would think when this happens they're going to lose straight away, like it's a 2-hour episode of AEW Dark where this is all they show. No wonder they got canned.
Did you? I don't know if you. I don't watch Raw live. Well, I'll leave that to the likes of Dan to do that.
Yeah, nutter.
But when I'll catch up on it on Impact on BT, it was really funny because they had Indus Share. You know, we can skip through the chapters.
Yeah.
They just had Indus Share versus Enhancement Talent. Didn't even bother with the name. It just said Enhancement Talent.
See, I didn't notice that because I saw that episode too, and when I saw Indus Share come out with Jinder, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. Like, who are they up against? Is it Diamond Mine? Is it, is it going to be something like that? And then I just saw 2 skinny guys I'd never seen before. And I watch NXT Level Up, so I knew it wasn't anybody from that. So I just thought, nah, didn't even bother. I thought this was going to be 30 minutes where they just play 30 seconds. I've seen this before.
It was somewhat. I think it would just be 2 local guys who have been paid $100 or something to. Do you fancy having a WWE match? And you're just going to get destroyed.
If I was them, I'd do that 100%. Not only is it money, it's work, it's raising your profile. It totally makes sense. But for me, that's house show stuff. I just don't want to see that on TV personally. But I've always had a bit of beef with. I don't mind a squash match, but I'm always of the view that if you have a roster with an undercard and a mid card, utilize it. It's okay to have people who are professional punching bags for a bit, as long as you give them throw them a bone at another time. WWE is usually pretty good at that. Usually pretty good. Like local talent. How did local talent get on the main roster of Raw or SmackDown without going through? It just doesn't work. But I think.
So we're just seeing that. We just heard that the women's tag team match is going to be a fatal 4-way match on Monday because they're making Raquel and Liv give up the titles. But then they show you a replay of Dakota Kai blatantly not making contact with Liv Morgan.
Oh, Misfits saying they're NXT. Those 2 girls were from NXT.
Nah, not that I've seen.
Not that I've seen either. Like, fair enough if they are, but everything I've just said still stands. But again, I've never seen them before. I watched Level Up, so that's like the lowest of the low in terms of card. No disrespect to the talent, but that's like they do NXT Level Up. Well, there you go. Fair enough. I've not noticed them. Because I watch Level Up as well, but I think with Level Up, I've been obsessed with Zion Quinn and Eddie Thorne in recent weeks. But no, I didn't recognise those two ladies. I wish them well. I hope we see them again. But here's the thing: like, I want a bit of storytelling. I want a bit of character. I don't just want to AEW has done squash matches with what's he called? Big guy, red hair. Everybody dies. He always says. How's he called? I forgot. I'm so tired. I forgot his name.
Sorry, who?
The guy who what's he called? I forgot his name. He was managed by. I forgot who he's bloody managed by. Anyway, he's a big dude who just does squash matches every week, and it's always the same thing. He's carrying them to the ring. He plants them in the ring and pins them. And it's like, all I need to I fast forward. I've seen it. Now, this guy. He hasn't got a match for Saudi Arabia yet, does he?
No.
And he should have. He really should have. Because it's Clash of Champions. Don't bury one of your champions by not having them on the card.
Ulisa Leon, I believe, was one of them in that tag match.
Is she, NXT?
She is on NXT apparently, but I don't know.
Oh, good. Glad they've got an opportunity. It'd be nice to see him. Raquel. I've got a big back. I'm hot and I smile. That's her boring character. I think, to be fair to her, Misfit, I think what's going on is it's the Finn Balor effect. It's when they used to say to Balor, big smile, before he walked out of gorilla position, and he'd die a little bit inside every time he had to do that big fake smile. I can see her soul leaving her body every time she smiles, Raquel. They need to just let her be her, and who her is on NXT was perfect. So let's have that back. TNT Sports. I'm still not used to that, Sassy, who's her boyfriend, Sassy? Yulisa Leon was on the injured list. Oh.
Valentina Feroz. I have seen her.
Yeah, that rings a bell. That does ring a bell.
She's the Brazilian one. She does actually normally dress as like a sort of like almost like a carnival sort of style.
Right.
At least she has done. I think she was on one of the. She has been on an episode of NXT because it was the one where I was actually at the Performance Center because she had a load of her family there to watch her.
Well, good. I hope they kick some ass and get. I think NXT Level Up's a really good idea. You know what I mean? Because you have the undercard wrestling the undercard, and little stories develop. Do you know what else I'm a fan of? Now, again, they should just call it Heat and be done with it and stop calling it bloody main event. But I'm a massive fan of the little matches they sometimes have on main event because they're not doing it now, but for a while they were doing like a Hurt Business story on there that they weren't doing on Raw or SmackDown with MVP trying to get the tag team back under his umbrella. And I remember thinking, well, this is great because they're not doing this on the main roster. So this is just a little bit of storyline that we're getting about the Hurt Business. It's a shame it didn't go anywhere, but I like the idea of having, these little stories that bleed into the wider story. I think it's a good thing to do. They're only 5-minute matches. They don't go anywhere, do anything special, but it gives as a fan, it gives me a little bit more investment.
Yeah, I mean, even on main event though, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, they had Tyler Bate versus Dolph Ziggler on a few weeks ago.
Yes, they did. Yeah, good match. Yeah, it really was. I love at the moment that they're having the NXT guys on main event in little exclusive matches. NXT guys versus main roster guys. That's an inspired idea. Keep doing it, WWE. Because we're seeing some dream matches. We saw Dexter Lumis the other day versus somebody. Who was it? Who was it? I can't remember.
It does make sense though, because it means the live audience kind of gets drip fed in a NXT that they might think, oh, actually, I'll keep an eye on that person because I've not seen them before. and it gives the superstars, wrestlers, whatever you're going to call them, a chance to perform in front of a big crowd as well, so you can see how they react in terms of like feeding off the crowd.
Yeah. Joe Gacy, that's who he was going up against Dexter Lumis, I think.
Oh, that's just like a creepy off.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong there. I'm pretty sure it was that.
I know this is a
yeah.
bit of an outlandish thing to say. I actually think the schism would work pretty well on the main roster, but I know grizzled young veterans are heading off away from WWE, aren't they?
I think they're a great tag team. I love them. I love them. I love them as grizzled young veterans. I've not been into them as the schism because I can't believe Zach Gibson, soon to be leaving WWE, would ever, as a character, would ever do that or be that. Like Zach Gibson is playing an exaggerated version of himself. That's why he's so good.
Yeah.
You know, he is an angry scouser, and that's a great gimmick.
Presumably, that's why they're leaving, because it'll be creative differences, because they are still featured fairly prominently.
Yeah,
but they also, the group's called Schism, right? But then they've got their own tag team now, which is like, is it the Diode or something?
Dyad.
Yeah. That's it.
It's something Celtic and weird, I believe.
Even though they're both from northwest England.
Yeah, they're both from Merseyside. So what we got here?
Austin Theory's getting a promo.
Give him a match on the main roster, guys. Come on. What do you think of Austin Theory, Andy?
I don't mind, to be honest. I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's getting booed, but that's the idea. But like, people will then just go, "Oh no, I'm not booing him because I don't like him," or he's doing a good heel job. I think he's rubbish. I'm like, still kind of booing him. He's getting the reaction that he wants. So it doesn't matter if it's why you're booing him, but he's still getting boos.
He's excellent at being a knob, isn't he? He's really good at it, and that bodes well for his future.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be going against Sheamus.
Ooh. That's not the title you need, though, Sheamus. You've had that one.
It's not. It's not like a sticker book where he's like got need.
But it is. But it is for Sheamus. Sheamus wants
he's
the
on
IC.
the wrong brand then.
Yeah, well, he made a big deal before WrestleMania of going after the IC, calling Drew everything under the sun. So he was saying that's what he needs to become a Grand Slam. So yeah. I'd argue that it's absolutely a sticker book. It's absolutely. He's got his Maradona sticker in there. Now he needs his Pele sticker.
Oh, don't start like football.
No, well, I don't. I actually have some hang-ups around football. I have a lot of anger towards it, but it's not football's fault. It's more the fault. Like, try growing up in the UK as a guy who doesn't follow football. It's a struggle. It really is. But you dig your heels in, the more people fight you or fight it. It's I chose wrestling. Although I appreciate you can have both.
Like this guy.
Yeah.
So the main event looks like it's going to be the Usos versus LWO.
Yeah. I want to see some bloodline drama, though. I was going to say, Sassy, that he's doing a good job. He's doing his job right.
That's extreme.
Core blimey, I know, yeah, but I mean, that's heat.
That escalated fast.
That's heat, if I ever saw it. Pitali is saying, what about having Pretty Deadly go up to the Street Profits if you be talking all this big talk? And when you've got here, Kid Face Me Tonight, we'll see what you're about. Yeah, I'd be game for that. It's a shame Austin's ability to be another Chris Jericho, but seems pigeonholed. Give him so great. Yeah, but to be fair, even Chris Jericho didn't invent the Chris Jericho thing. The heel coming out talking smack, being really good on the mic. I've got the belt. Is a long tried and tested and all Austin Theory needs to do is that at the moment. Like, the whole point with Austin Theory is he can do it in the ring. He's good, but he's a coward. He's a sniveling heel. He's like the Miz in that sense. It's that when you book a sniveling heel, you book them a certain way. Like Roman Reigns is going from a monster heel to a sniveling heel. They're changing it to suit the character, and I think Austin Theory is one of the best sniveling heels we've had in a while. You know, I actually like everything they're doing with Theory. I can't find any fault with it. I really can't. I just hope he's got a match on the card, because here's the thing: the more they do that with Theory, the more they get him to do that. When actually somebody does kick his ass and take the title off him, it'll mean something. But again, Austin Theory's like Chris Jericho. He's so slappable. He's perfect in that role. I thought Rey Mysterio was like massive then, and then I realised it's Santos. Yeah. Can I get a vote for the last one? Yeah, let's do it. I can't believe it's the last one.
Banner change as well.
Yeah. I'm glad you're all here to remind me, or it'd never get done. So, LWO versus the Usos. Nice and easy one. What's happening here, Andy? Fantasy book this for me.
We've got a mouthful of Kit Kat, but yeah, sure. It's gone to an advertising break anyway. I don't know, because for me, this is a very strange main event for SmackDown to have, unless there's some more beef with Roman happening. I don't really get what they're trying to achieve from this being a main event.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Presumably, the Usos win. I don't know.
Because that's what I was thinking. It seems a bit of a weird placement, but you articulated that better than me. I think I've got no. I won't relitigate this, but I preferred Legado del Fantasma when they were heels. I don't mind them in this role. I think it was fun at the pay-per-view the way we saw it, but like the Usos could lose if something goes awry, and that makes Roman Reigns furious. You know,
why does it matter? Because at the end of the day, what's the jeopardy here? For us, because if the Usos lose, do the LWO get a title shot? Like, where do they stand there? But if the Usos win, okay, cool. They're still behind Roman and Solo for the title. So it's a very strange booking.
No, I agree. It's a questionable main event. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, because I don't think, even with Ray, like, I think, obviously Ray's a legend, but I don't. This is a little bit out of nowhere, isn't it?
Does Rey Mysterio in 2023 have more than 5 moves?
I imagine so, but I take your point. I do take your point.
Like, I think Santos is excellent, but I don't really see in this match in particular why we couldn't have had the actual tag team that's within LWO go against the Usos and put on a bit of a banger.
Because that'd be even less of a main event, I think, would be the only argument there. From in my point of view, anyway. I agree. Yeah, I certainly makes sense. Who else have we got? So we've got somebody new in, Chris Watts. Hi everybody. Hello, Chris. Welcome. Watching the main event. We're talking about it. That's the general thing that goes on here.
Good evening, good night, good morning.
Wherever the hell you are. Wherever you are.
Yeah,
good morning, good night, whatever's. Santos Escobar hasn't won a match since January. Misfit, that is such a depressing statistic, but thank you for giving it me. Is that true? Really? That is mad. Do you know what, Misfit? You might have a career in data journalism, mate. There's some money to be made in data journalism. Andy will tell you. What do you reckon? What's Prince Ali saying? Here's what I'm predicting. Usos lose, which makes them interfere with Reigns and so. I don't get it. Hang on. Usos lose, which makes them interfere
Actually, I've just realised why this is the main event.
Why?
Because they're recording straight afterwards for another episode, so they have to do that weird thing where there's only certain people feature because they don't do double matches, do they? They try to avoid it where they can for the live audience.
It's annoying that I'm away in 2 weeks and not next week, when it probably makes more sense for me to be away. Just a heads up for the regulars. I don't know what's going on next week because it's a very, very, very busy wrestling week. So we'll figure something out. But in regards to the week after, I'm on holiday. I'm actually in York, close to where the Hull guys are. So, we might be skipping the stream that week. We'll see what's happening. Catriana's going to bed. Night, Catriana. Misfit saying, yeah, it's cage match. Yeah, tell me about it, Misfit. It's although cage match has let me down a bunch of times in interviews and stuff like that because it's like Wikipedia. Anyone could just put crap on it, and they do as well. And Catriana said I was trying to pick the Usos, but it didn't let me. Bye. Such an abrupt bye. Happy birthday, Malachi Black. Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Malachi. We've got an interview with Malachi Black, by the way, on WrestleSphere. Go and check it out. One of Dom's favourites, actually, that.
Mm-hmm. He's a very good person to speak to, is Malachi / Alistair Black.
Malister, shall we call him?
Malister
Black.
Is that like Ricochet?
Ricochet's brilliant. Did Dom come up with that, or did the internet come up with that?
I don't know, but it was Dom who said it first. I didn't hear it anywhere else. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's exactly my point. Yeah. RIP to James Brown, NFL running back and a civil rights leader. Oh, wow. Well, that's
was
a shame.
He also living in America? That's probably not the time to make a joke, but I thought at first I was like, I'm sure James Brown did pass away a few years ago, but then Sassy's clarified that it is an NFL running back.
That's funny.
And probably more importantly to the world, a civil rights leader.
Yes. But yeah, if you got a name like James Brown, someone's going to make that joke.
I'm sure he spent most of his life hearing the same comments.
Yeah. I bet he leaned into them like I lean into the Sam Smith jokes.
Well, I know, yeah. I couldn't do this stream on my own, by the way. I need you to stay with me.
It's always the one people go to first. Yeah, but because if I had left the right, it'd be on the wall. So
I know.
There we go.
You would only be doing it to do some work because you've got money on your mind.
That's right. They're the only 3 ones I know. They're the only 3 Sam Smith songs I know. I couldn't do any more. That's it.
What's the James Bond one?
I've already done that one. That's Writing on the Wall.
He did the other one that's with it's more dancey. He did a remix with someone. Latch.
Oh, did he? I don't know.
You'll have definitely heard that song.
Mate, I didn't know who Pele was until you're underestimating me.
When you've got a name like Sam Smith, I think you should know his entire back catalogue, to be fair.
But here's the thing: because he and I share a name, is the reason I go out of my way to not know about him. If that makes any sense, I tell you what: if I ever ring like a call center for any purpose, I tell them my name, and they go, "Oh, do you know you share a name with a famous singer?" I'm like, "No, you're the first bloody idiot to point that out. Congratulations!" Like and they look at me like, well, they talk to me like, "Oh."
I don't know if I'm frozen or if it's you.
Yeah, you just kind of went like that. Oh, without the arm gestures, but you just kind of froze. And I was just making the pose cooler.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. My internet seems to have a nice, lovely little blip about 15 minutes from the end of SmackDown every week.
Yeah, me too. It's weird, isn't it? Do you remember a few weeks ago when it kicked me out entirely, so I didn't bother coming back because there was only like 10 minutes to go. But Dom was here. I think you were here as well, so it was all right.
Yeah. I also want to point out, by the way, in case anyone wonders, one, I'm not trusted on my own to do a Gimme A Hull Yeah stream, and two, quite frankly, I would probably fall asleep on my own.
Well, I'm always relieved when I've got someone with me because, like, Dan has got his setup, Ant's got his setup, Dom doesn't mind doing them on his own. I don't really like doing them on my own. I like having someone to bounce off. I think it's more entertaining and for everybody, really. But
Yeah, you need someone to bounce off of. I feel like I'm
yeah,
definitely. I feel like I'm at my best when I've got a sparring partner or someone just that I can like kind of have a bit more of a laugh with. But not to
yeah,
say I wouldn't be entertained by the comments that come through
yeah.
by the beloved Hullamaniacs.
And it's getting late. It's getting close to 3. It's been all right though. I kind of stopped yawning, so that's all right.
5.
Oh, there's 5. You've scratched your tally.
To be fair, I think I was been yawning more.
Yeah, I think you might have. Well, next time we do this, we'll do a tally each.
We'll do a yawn off.
The yawn off. Yeah, because I'm thinking with Friday, because it was me and Dom like done Fridays for the longest time. And with Dom having a hiatus, I kind of thought, oh, like I can do them on my own. I'm perfectly happy to do that, but because you're happy to jump on, I thought, well, I'll bring Andy on. You know, we'll make. And when Dom comes back, we'll just keep you around. We won't drop you like a stone. We'll just keep you around. And I always invite Kinney to come on as well. So
I know my place in the pecking order.
No. It's you might as well just. It's just assumed you're going to be with us now. But obviously we always reach out and ask if you want to or not, because we don't want to just assume that you come in when you've got a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a life and a wife and kids, and
You've got 2 kids more than me, mate.
Yeah.
I've got a wife, but she's glad to be rid of me on a Friday night. She's happy to have the bedroom to herself, her and the cat and the dog. Watching her vlogs, she calls them. She loves her YouTube vlogs, which is usually people going shopping or selling products or whatever. I like watching men throw men at men.
I like watching big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, I'm happy to watch big meaty women slapping meat or women throw women at women. You know, I've got no problem with women's wrestling. I enjoy that too. But it's hard to deny there's a lot more men's wrestling than there is. All the big companies have a division. Ring of Honor. Have you seen Ring of Honor's women's division at the moment? It's awesome. It's better than AEW's.
I haven't, no.
It's really good.
I shall check that out.
It's as I said, it's Ember Moon. Athena is the champ, and she's an absolute knob of a heel. It's great. She's so good.
Yeah, and obviously, big news for AEW fans or wrestling fans with a collision being announced this week.
Yeah, I'm amazed. God, I'm amazed it's taken us nearly 2 hours to mention it. Yeah, it's because we knew it was coming, didn't we?
Yeah. The only reason why we haven't spoke about it, by the way, is because it is a WWE stream, and I know some people get a bit protective about talking about it, but the guys at Gimme A Hull Yeah cover everything. So no tribalism here.
No, we do not tolerate tribalism, because it's like, and if anyone's ever being funny and being tribal, I always say the one question they can't ask: what will happen if you watch both? What are you scared of? Like, what? The wrestling police aren't going to knock on your door and go, "Excuse me, you're a committed WWE or AEW fan, and we believe it's come to our attention. You watched an episode of Raw or Dynamite the other night. Do you mind?" It's not going to happen. Like, you're good. Like, I was overjoyed. Like, I'm a WWE fan and I'm an AEW fan. And I tell you now, when one of them does something stupid, I'm the first one to call it out. And if we have they do something awesome, I'm the first one to call it out. I even did a tweet the other day celebrating how good it was as a wrestling week last week, because Raw was ace, SmackDown was ace, and Dynamite was ace. I was a pig in muck. I was so happy. And Impact was good, and Ring of Honor was good, and NXT was good. It was just wicked. It was such a good week to be a fan. This week's been a little bit more lackluster. It's not been bad. It's just been
What's
bad on
the
numbers.
what's the saying? Is it rising tides
Lifts all ships.
Yeah,
Or floats all ships. Yeah.
floats all ships. So the idea that basically, if the wrestling industry is doing well, then everyone benefits from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if WWE becomes super popular again, like it did in the Attitude Era, that's actually good news for AEW, and it's good news for Impact. Because look, TNA spawned from the death of WCW. Ring of Honor spawned from it, where there was still a lot of appetite for wrestling, and you know, like in TNA was there's huge crowds and things like that, and now AEW exists. Like if AEW doing well and being successful is great news for WWE. Because people like my father-in-law, for example, has turned on ITV4 and he's seen AEW and he's watched it, not realizing it isn't WWE. So he then might go and look for WWE because he's watched and enjoyed AEW. So it's the more wrestling, the more good quality wrestling there is. Like there can be too much of a good thing, but yeah, having two major companies keeping the other on their toes is great.
And even then, the other thing is when people see it on TV, then they might think, "Oh, I saw a poster in town that they're doing one at the local town hall, so I might go check that and see what that's about." And then you get your
the indies,
your independent scene and the British wrestling scene across here benefits from it because, as I say, it's all about just basically boosting the profile of wrestling in general. So yeah, good to see that there's going to be even more content for wrestling fans to enjoy. Quite how the Hull Yeah guys are going to fit that in. I think discussions are still going on at the moment.
They certainly are. I know it's not going to be me because it's a Saturday night and I'm busy covering SmackDown, which is going to take priority from my point of view. But
maybe they'll bring someone new in.
Maybe. What about you, Andy? Would you do it solo if you were given the gig?
I don't think I could do an AEW show justice. If I was going to do anything, I would potentially do NXT, but because on a Tuesday night, it's just a really awkward midweek thing to do.
Yeah, that's my issue. I can do Friday night okay because on a Friday night I don't have that many plans or anything. If I ever have plans, I struggle to do the stream. But if I'm ever out or doing something, it's usually on a Saturday night rather than a Friday. You know, so Friday night works quite nicely, and I think SmackDown is one of the priority shows. Is the show Roman Reigns is most on, and people like Brock Lesnar, stuff like that. So SmackDown works for me. You'd actually see me a lot more on the other streams, but obviously my day job at Deserto requires me to be awake at my desk and alive and writing by 9 a.m. So I have to get a good night's sleep Monday to Friday.
I guess this is probably a good time as well to tell anyone who's watching about potential plans for next week. If you know anything, Sam, for a big weekend of wrestling.
We still need to thrash it out, I'm afraid, guys. So I'm fairly confident that I will be covering Clash of Champions. You're welcome to join me, Andy, if you'd like to. But I completely understand if you're going to chill out and watch it and just comment from below. But you're welcome to join me.
It's what that'll be like a 6 o'clock start, that one UK time.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but it's around about that time. Yeah,
so this is where it is nice to have it on at that time because you get to watch it at a decent time. However, when you have kids, that's around bedtime or you've got dinner time, you've got to start like winding people down, then it becomes a slight issue. But I'm sure I'll make an appearance on A channel at some point.
Yeah. So what else have we got that week? So I don't think we're covering. It's not an Impact pay-per-view we're getting that week. It's one of the monthly specials. So we won't.
Under Siege, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good card, but we won't be covering it live. We'll just we'll do something, but we're not going to be live streaming it. I don't know about. I'm almost certain Ant will want to cover Double or Nothing this time.
Yeah.
Because Ant's our resident AEW guy. He knows it better than I watch it religiously, but Ant is our big AEW fan, just like Dom is our big WWE fan. So I think I'm speaking for him here, but he might correct me. But I imagine he'll want to do the AEW pay-per-view, which happens at the same time as the NXT one. And the problem I've got with that is I'm very, very busy in work the next day, so I'll struggle to cover that. If I wasn't, I would. So so I don't know what's happening with the NXT one. We just might not cover that one. But I imagine the big WWE pay-per-view and the big AEW pay-per-view will be getting covered one way or another. Dan might join me for WWE. Oh, thank you, Sassy. I'm glad you're here. So Sassy tells me Ant and Dan the Wizard doing Double or Nothing. So we're having a special guest of Dan Reed from Eve Riot Girls of Wrestling will be joining Ant for Double or Nothing. So that's
I can't wait to make some comments on that stream.
Dan, if you're watching this, we're coming for you, mate.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm not sure wrestling promoters should be allowed to do watch-along streams.
Oh, stop being a bitch. Yeah. You got to be objective, Dan. You got to be. We're teasing you, of course. We all we'll do on the comments is say nice things. Don't you worry. I want to support my own channel, not hinder it. Well, not my own. The one I'm a part of with everybody else. But yeah. If no one knows what we're doing here, Dan, bless him, can sometimes give us a hard time in the comments if we say something daft. So we've all been on the receiving end. So Andy's just thinking, revenge.
He likes a healthy debate, does Dan? That's
very true.
And the main event is finished for SmackDown as LWO claimed the victory thanks to a bit of an assist from KO and Sami Zayn with the distraction.
Oh, I like. Do you know what? I'm for it because it annoys Roman more, and if it annoys Roman, more bloodline drama. That's what I want to see, Andy.
That was a good match. As we go backstage and we see Roman Reigns not very happy.
See, that's what I wanted to see.
Oh, and he's Roman stopping Solo from going out.
Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to see. Just a little bit of storytelling. See, I knew they were going to do something with that because it was such an awkwardly and weirdly placed match, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was a good match. I don't think that was ever in dispute. But yeah, LWO, that's so it is. Have we had that stat verified? It's his first win since January, or we're not counting tag team matches?
I trust you, Misfit. I trust you. I don't trust Cage Match, but I trust you. But yeah, so I could have sworn they'd won one or two, but I've got no reason to doubt you. And I personally cannot be arsed looking myself. Roman needs a massage. Sassy, are you volunteering? I thought you were a Mox girl, not a tribal chief girl. I don't know why I'm making that massage sexy. I don't know why I'm doing that. I get annoyed when people do that. Andy, if I ever go for a massage, or Jess and I ever go for a spa day or something, I love spa days, by the way, people. I love them, like addicted. I should have had a hen night, not a stag night. But anyway, if I ever say to people, I'm going for a massage, I'm going for a full body massage, they look at me and go, are you? And it's like, yeah, I am. What does your wife think about that? She's going for one too in another room.
I had a couples massage done a few weeks ago in the same room.
How did you find that? I want to
know. I mean, I'm so chilled out just getting a massage. I don't really care, to be honest. Like what's going on next to me. Crack on.
I'm going to admit something in front of all of you and the internet, which is, so we had a couples massage a few years ago, and we both came out of it saying we couldn't get into it because the other one was in the room. Like that, isn't that weird? So,
what do you normally do when she's not in the room?
Nothing. It's just apparently we were very self-conscious that our spouse was in the room, and again, we don't do anything, but it was just a case of because we knew the other person was there, it made it weird.
I have this bad habit of when you get like really relaxed and you kind of like you have your face like down in the on the bed and he's got like the hole and whatever. So your face is down, he's looking at like a weird patch of the ground. I always nearly start drooling. I have to like proper like stop myself drooling. I get way too relaxed.
That's so funny. That doesn't happen to me.
So then I'm like, oh gee. So then I have to quickly be like, oh no, I'm not. I don't know if it's because I'm like pretty much about to like fall asleep because I'm so relaxed.
I thought you go somewhere else for that. Dribbling everywhere.
Yeah, it's like everything all right. Yeah, absolutely fine.
Yeah,
dying in my own drool.
Hey, that's one for you to caption, not caption. To video up. Ant, if you see that, that's so funny. No, it's like I absolutely love it, but it was just weird. I sometimes though, like when they give like they get a knot and they proper go to town, and you go and because so Jess and I give each other massages, and I do that while she's massaging me, and she goes, "You better not do that for a masseuse. You better not make those noises. You better not make those noises." And I'm like, I don't know if I do or not because I'm not flipping recording myself.
I don't know, because is it if you're a masseuse and you're not getting any kind of reaction and the person's just like there, not making a single noise, is it not a bit weird? Because then you're like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not.
That's a good point.
Although to be fair, they're getting paid. It doesn't matter. They probably don't care too much.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
At that last one, I literally had it was a Thai massage, and the girl who was doing it was from Thailand, and she was literally kneeling on my back.
Yeah, I've had that. It's crazy, isn't it? I had one on a cruise. I love how this is a wrestling stream. It's 3 a.m. and we're talking about massages. This is great.
SmackDown's finished, by the way, guys.
Yeah, SmackDown's done. It's all good. We're just shooting the breeze now. I had some I was on a cruise. I was on the Ventura, one of the P&O ships. This is like in 2011, and I had one, and she was like, at one point, she was practically straddling me to do something on my temples, and I wasn't again nothing naughty, nothing kinky. It was just she was being a professional, but the way it was only when I opened my eyes that I actually realised she was.
So if you'd stood up, you could have done like an electric chair move on her, and then just like put her through the masseuse table.
I was thinking something else, but yeah, pretty kinda, yeah. No, I was on some kind of chair. Oh, this is getting weird.
Match of the night was probably that last one was a good match.
Moment of the night. You drooling.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Match of the night was Rick Boogs.
I love that. Imagine somebody walked into the stream and you were talking about Asian massages. I own it, Misfit. I own it. I'll, I can't wait to show my wife this moment. I can't wait tomorrow. She'll be like, yeah, that sounds like you. She doesn't sound like that, by the way. That's just the voice I do when I imitate her. Actually, she does sound like that.
Well, do you drool as well, do you, Sam?
I don't think so.
I'm going to walk in the future when I get a massage done and just have like a little like pot, and they'll be like, what are you doing? Like, just going to put it underneath the face hole.
The last one I went to, they actually had some like lavender incense like underneath the face hole, like that was zenning you. You were smelling it, and it was zenning you out. And I thought that's a nice touch. That they've actually done something.
Burn eventually because it's too much. Like
no, it was subtle. It was quite subtle.
Oh,
it was like a little wheat bag or something that they'd already burned, and then it was just kind of like the remnants. It was really cool. I was into it. Yeah. Blushing Sam is cute.
I tried my best, by the way, to push this back into wrestling, but Sam's intent on going down the.
No, I'm done.
Going down.
That was a satisfying massage conversation.
Moment of the night. What was that by Misfit? Sorry, Oscar doing what?
Oh, moment of the night. Oscar attempted to break Zelina's arm, and people cheering it on the damn savages. Yeah, I was too.
The people of South Carolina got a lot to answer for there.
Isn't that what Kenny Omega always makes a joke about? South Carolina.
Not sure. I'm more of a North Carolina fan.
It could be North Carolina. I don't know. Someone explained the joke to me, but I've already forgot. Right, so match of the night. I'm going to give it to the main event, actually, I think. Because it was a really good match. Performer of the night now. You know what? Santos Escobar, I think, from a. I know it, and I'm going to give. What are you giving it as a grade? I'm curious.
What are we doing out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 10 normally, isn't it? I think.
6.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a bit harsh. I'm going to say 7 because I did enjoy the fact there was a lot of NXT call ups on it.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things I liked. Like I liked the there was some Roman Reigns bloodline drama, which is what I wanted to see. So I'm happy about that. But it was quite it wasn't like the banger last week's episode, was it?
No, because it didn't have the kind of like the tournament wasn't on it, and it felt like, and that one I know we gave like an 8.5, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, we were really high on it. Really high.
I'll probably go for a 6.5, and it could have been lower to be fair, because I don't think any of the matches were unbelievable. But yeah, I enjoyed Grayson Waller being in a prominent position.
Yeah,
I'd actually probably give Performer of the Night. I'd probably give it to Pretty Deadly because I thought that was a nice little spot for them to be in.
Yeah, I think all I've got to do is my grade. I think I'm gonna 6.5 because I don't want to give it 7 because that suggests it was getting really good, but it was really inoffensive as well. Nothing bad happened. It was, it was just kind of a run of the mill, spin the wheels kind of thing. But I'm happy that the bloodline thing. I want to see now. The bloodline story progress every week. That is what I want to see. If that doesn't progress at all 1 week, I'll be annoyed because that's the thing I'm tuning in for.
Yeah, it will be interesting when the spoilers come out because obviously right now they'll be filming the next episode of SmackDown, but I would expect there to be another couple of matches, maybe 3 matches, and it sounds like there's a contract signing as well.
I'm a bit frustrated that or have they booked Austin Theory in a match for Saudi Arabia now?
Well, they kind of hinted that it's going to be Sheamus, haven't they? Because he kind of called him out, which is weird because I don't think a heel should ever call out a challenger.
It's happened before. It happens now and then, doesn't it? The heel gets gobby and the babyface comes out and shuts them up. But it does take the heat off the heel when they do that because they've just had their comeuppance. So why are you going to pay for a pay-per-view to see the comeuppance? I think that's always the thing that annoys me. Like I feel like these days they take the heat away and then the match is a bit like because it's you want to see the heel get battered. That's the whole point. The heel has to be slippery and get away until they're cornered and then they get beaten up. Anyway, that's just me.
I agree. But it is now 3:10 in the morning in the UK. And if I stay on even 5 minutes more, I turn into a pumpkin. Or I just start drooling.
What do you do? Have you had a massage? No.
No, it's got too late. Yeah.
So, are you like a drooler in bed? Would you go to sleep and just start drooling randomly?
That's a very personal question, but no, I'm very good. I just apparently, well, my wife tells me I don't snore. I just kind of breathe lightly. So.
I've been told I snore recently by 2 people. The first one being Jess, obviously. The second person being Dan Hargreaves.
I feel like I can hear it from my hotel room in LAX.
Oh my God. Oh my. Forget you were so close to the airport. Right then, folks. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. We went off on a fun tangent, but that's what you're here for, really, isn't it?
You probably enjoy that more than the wrestling chat.
Yeah. And so follow Rush on Rock, Wrestling Royalty, WrestleSphere, Gimme A Hull Yeah, or I'll come to your house and take your Christmas presents, basically. Do it or else, please. And if you don't mind liking the video.
Nutcase has Christmas presents in the house in May.
No, you misunderstand me, Andy. I'm going to wait all the way until December and then do it.
Yeah. But subscribe now. You don't have to wait till December.
Subscribe now, or that is it. Done. I'm going to ruin your Christmas when Christmas comes.
He doesn't check his list twice. He just goes off the first draft.
I don't care if you've been naughty or nice. All I care about is you subscribe to all those channels and follow us on Twitter. That's all I care about. But yeah, anyway, thank you for joining us. See, I end it on a dark note, unlike Dom, who just shouts and goes, "Yay, happy time!"
Now you're going to have to find a really positive outro.
No, I'm not. This is night 2 of WrestleMania. I'm not sending anyone home happy.
Oh, okay.
Cody lost.
What's the darkest outro you could put on right now then?
Oh, shall we find? I think we've got an Evil Uno, but Evil Uno is a famously nice guy. So I can't believe 5 of you are still here. Listening to the Guffin massage is now the threatening to take our Christmas presents. Right, and Andy needs to go to bed. Right, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. You too. See you later, guys. Thank you very much. Misfit. Oh, that's ruined my night because that means they're not going to bother putting it on the pay-per-view. I hate it. But, oh, well, that's classic then. All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. Let's find an outro. Who are we going to have? Because I'm very, very conscious. Andy is tired. See, I hate it when people do...
I've got to go do a 5K run in like 5 hours.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'm going to go to the gym when I wake up, whenever that may be. You know what? Let's do this. See you later, guys.
It's Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior. Hello and welcome to Gimme A Hull Yeah podcast. I hope everyone in Yorkshire and beyond is having an awesome day. Keep fanging and banging.